Hey guys, it's Wazzeh from Scooter Hut. Today I'm going to give you a quick little rundown on what you're going to need to build a custom complete. So right in front of me I've got all the key ingredients. We've got a deck. This is one of the most vital decisions you can make. You really want to make sure the phone doesn't ring when you're filming a video. Hello. So you want to make sure that you pick the right size deck for you in terms of width and length. And head tube angle is kind of important. Most of them are roughly the same, but yeah, completely up to you. Next, we've got our grips. These are something personal preference comes a big part of, but the DNA grips that we've got here are a big hit right now. We've got a pair of forks. Your compression system is going to line up with the clamp that you need, so keep that in mind. And that being said, we've got an IHC setup, so we're going to run just a regular double clamp. Got some wheels, a headset, grip tape to go on the deck, and last but not least, some bars. So let's get into building the complete. So first things first, when we start building is we're going to want to grip the deck. It's just the easiest thing to get out of the way. You're going to take the brake off, make sure there's no axle in there or anything like that, so you can run the blade nice and cleanly around that back wheel section. So let's get into that right now. So once we've pulled that brake out, it's time to go line up your grip tape. For me, if you've got a graphic in the middle, you want to make sure that that lines up with the center of your deck in between your brake and your head tube, not necessarily the back of it like this whole sheet. So what we're going to do is line that up right now. I'm pretty lazy, so I just fold it at the front. I think this just looks clean. You don't have to necessarily cut around that head tube. And then we're going to look around the sides, make sure it's all lined up perfectly. So once we've done our fold, we're just going to cut it all the way across. You can use a blade, use scissors, use whatever. Just makes it easier, nice and simple. Peel that bad boy back, and next thing you know, we're gonna line it up. So for me, the most important thing, line it up front with the head tube, and then make sure the sides cover the width of your deck. Push it on, tap it all the way back. Bada bing, bada boom. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is scrape the sides, just to make sure that you get that nice outline of the grip tape and make it way easier when you're cutting it out. So if you are a young gun at home, you want to make sure that you get someone to help you with this bit. This blade can be pretty sharp. The smoother the movement, the better the cut. So nice clean cut. So now that we've wrapped up that grip tape job, we're going to slide the brake back in, chuck the axles in, and you get those wheels on. So now it's time to put that back wheel on. People get a little tricky sometimes with spaces. So what you want to do, chuck your axle bolt through, put one spacer on, slide the wheel in, through the core of the wheel, and then if you put your scooter at like an angle where the space is not really going to run away from you, you can slide it in there, wiggle, push through with the axle bolt, and chuck the nut on. So now that back wheel's on, we're going to move on to the front section, and that means we're going to put the headset in first, then the forks, and then obviously the front wheel. So what we want to do is put the tapered side of the headset into the cut. You'll see it fits nice and flush. The one tip that you really want to do is to try and keep it as flat as possible, both top and bottom. From there, we're going to grab our forks, slide it straight through, and then start to put the pieces of the compression system together. So we're going to slide the ring down, make sure the headset's locked in nice and tight. The next thing we're going to do is put the shim on, and then the cap and bolt to lock it in. So a lot of people get freaked out tightening headsets. They don't want it to be too tight or too loose. What I usually do is crank it and then just drop it off a tiny little bit just to relieve some pressure, let it spin freely. Headset cap, straight on, easy as you like. Now we're gonna move on to that front wheel section. It's a little simpler than the back because there's no spaces. So all you wanna do, slide that axle bolt right through and then chuck the nut on the other side. A lot of companies these days are actually making it easier with front and back axles by making an extrusion for the nut. So you can just put that in, put pressure on it, Allen key on the other side, and then just tighten her up. Obviously you gotta know how to use an Allen key. Please don't put that bit in there. So the next step is to put the bars on. We're gonna start off by adding these grips just up the top here. Most people would like to use an air compressor, but we know not everyone has one at home. So the easiest thing to do, get some hairspray, deodorant, anything like that. You just want to lather it up a little bit. So we're going to start off inside the grips, I reckon is the easiest way. Just put a little bit on there. You don't want to go too overboard or you're going to have moto grip and be slipping for a while. And then just slide it on, a little bit of pressure. So the reason that we actually use hairspray or like a deodorant or something like that is because it actually dries out. If you were to use something else, it wouldn't dry as well. Hairspray obviously dries quite sticky. So if you give it a little bit, the lubrication will like dry up, and then that way you'll have nice, firm, stuck on grips. Once the grips are on, you want to get your bar ends. Some people at home like to use a mallet or something like that, but these ones go in super easy. Most grips these days actually come with 2 different sizes, so make sure you've got the right size going into your bars, or you could have a couple of issues. So now the top half of our bars is done. It's down to the final step, and that is putting the clamp on. You want to make sure your clamp bolts are nice and loose. Turn your bars upside down. Make sure the front of the clamp is facing the front of your bars, and just push on, or give it a little tap. Should slide on. If it's not going anywhere, your bolts are probably way too tight. So now that that's on, I'm going to show you guys how to put on the scooter the easiest way possible. That is putting this on the ground, sliding the bars on as if you were about to ride it. So I'm going to come around and show you guys that now. So scooter on the ground, 1 foot on, you're going to get your bars just over the shim, shimmy shake it, push down with some pressure. The next thing you want to do is line it up. The last thing you want to do is have crooked bars. Then we're going to come down, tighten it up, alternating between the 2 bolts. The reason we do that is because if you tighten one, the other one's actually not going to do its job too well. So just want to rotate through, make it nice and easy to get good compression from the clamp onto the bars, and then obviously through to your forks. So there we have it, guys, the tutorial on how to build your own scooter. If you do need any more help, don't be afraid to jump on our socials, Instagram or Facebook, hit us up in those DMs, or just pop into one of our stores and ask our friendly staff. See you guys next time.